A trainer fights for his life as he's dragged underwater by a killer whale in San Diego.
For today, and the less than stellar results sent the company's stock into a major freefall.
Announcing that it will end all breeding of killer whales forever.
Seaworld built its brand amongst the captivity of aquatic life. At its heart was the orca. However, amidst backlash and legislation, they would be forced to end its orca program, making the remaining 17 orcas spread across 3 parks, their last in their care. This brings forth the question of what will happen to the park stadiums and focus upon these orcas' death, as based on the last 10 years and the age of death of the orcas in Seaworld's care, this date is quickly approaching, likely being within the next decade, in which all of them are gone. One area where I think we could see the first move is the relocation of the current animals at Seaworld's care, upgrading them into the bigger facility, with dolphins moving into the orca stadium and the sea lions moving into the dolphin stadium. While this move would be great for the animals, it does remain the question of if Seaworld would want to do this or not, as they are currently owned by private equity, in which they are making several cost-cutting measures across the resort, sometimes to the detriment of guests, making you wonder how much care they are giving to the animals behind the scenes. Let's say, however, that they are willing to relocate the animals, in which case it still leaves us with an empty stadium and what to do with it. When it comes to this, I think Seaworld would do one of 2 things, either build an attraction or utilize the space for a non-animal exhibit, or relocate another animal into the exhibit that isn't necessarily an animal. This would be an animatronic orca, so providing Seaworld with that orca image and help educating guests on that creature. This idea, while it's far-fetched on the surface, is actually quite possible. In fact, it's already being pursued by companies like Edge Innovations, who have recently debuted an animatronic dolphin, a creature that, while costing a few $1,000,000, does look like the real thing while also being financially cheaper in the long term. The other option here would be the attraction area, and this is something that Seaworld has been increasingly interested in over the last decade, as to help counteract the negative attendance in areas brought on by Blackfish, a documentary which tackled Seaworld's captivity process and the negative impacts that it can have on such animals like orcas. Seaworld has been continuing to add new roller coasters and other themed additions to their parks to help make them stand out once again, while also drawing in a new target audience that helps educate guests about the animals while also not containing as many animals. This strategy does appear to be working, with Seaworld drawing in new guests with record-breaking coasters while also increasing their attendance once again after Blackfish caused a drastic decline in it. This is not the only strategy that they are pursuing, as Seaworld already has a park without any orcas. This is Seaworld Abu Dhabi, a park that opened back in 2023 without orcas. In fact, many of the animal enclosures, while they do so include them, are done at a drastically improved size, helping provide greater care for the animals and an improved guest experience. While this is a great step forward and does seem to be a proven success, at least for now, one thing to note is that this park is not owned and operated by the current owners of the US parks, but rather as a result of a licensing agreement between them. This licensing agreement gives Marriott Asset Entertainment the right to own and operate the Seaworld park, while only having to pay licensing fees for it to use the Seaworld brand. While this park does still educate guests about the orcas, albeit with no exhibit for them, it does still show that Seaworld can indeed survive without its orcas. That said, I do feel like orcas are still an important part of Seaworld's identity, as they are one of the largest creatures in the ocean and play an essential role in that environment. And as a result, I think Seaworld's best option after relocating the animals would be to build an attraction based around the animals to help continue to tell its majestic tale, as well as sell merchandise for such creatures and educating guests in the process.